We good? Okay. All right. So Chef Anthony, I like to start off every conversation with a couple snaps. So we'll do two hands and then we'll snap on three. One, two, three.
Welcome to Unexpected Connections, where we bring together inventive people across different industries through events and intimate dinners. We share insights from industry leaders pushing the boundaries. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, guys. So we are here in Long Beach for the Unexpected Connections dinner with Chef Anthony Wang prepared for us. Thank you. And we are talking about the theme of imperfectly perfect starting. So when was the time in your culinary career where you started imperfectly?
Well, I started off as a musician and not really quite as a chef. I went to school for music for about a year, wasn't really enjoying it, and I had a long conversation with my family and my sister about it, and I was just kind of in this position where I didn't really know what I was going to do with my life, much like most 18-year-olds, deal with. And my sister just had a really frank question to me. She's like, "Why don't you pursue cooking? You've always loved it. You've always been very passionate about it and almost somewhat obsessive about it." And it never occurred to me to pursue a career in the food industry, coming from a Chinese family, and it was always like, okay, you have to pursue a career of that wasn't exactly blue collar or working class. And so when I told my sister about it, she connected me with a restaurant in Boston who would agree to let me come work there for a summer, for about 2 or 3 months, and I ended up staying for 3 years.
Wow.
So I ended up having a conversation with my parents over the phone. I still remember it like it was yesterday, saying, "Hey, I don't think I'm going to come back home. I think I'm going to drop out of school and really pursue this cooking thing." And so it really started because the sous chef that I worked for, I'm still really grateful for this day. He handed me a book that was Letters to a Young Chef by Daniel Boulud, and reading that kind of gave me some insight about what I needed to do to pursue this career, and never looked back. So
Wow. So
yeah.
was that book that kind of you're already in it, but that was almost like a
The book-
ignition.
Yeah, the book was almost like a guideline to how to be successful in the industry,
Yeah.
and what it took. And so coming from a music background, a classical piano background, it seemed to me like the thing that I really got out of the book was you get out of cooking as much as you put in. Just same thing with music. You practice hours and hours and hours a day, and you get out exactly what you put in. And so that's what I really loved about cooking, especially cooking at a high level, is that really it just comes from time and experience, and really putting in the effort. So I love that about it. I love the discipline, the structure behind it, and how parallel and how similar it was to the classical music in my background. So I attribute a lot of my success and a lot of my work ethic to studying classical music when I was a kid. So
Wow.
I think music and food to me are still my two loves and passions in the world. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Very poetic. What's one thing that you've learned in this journey?
I guess to never stop being curious. I think that's really, really important. Always to, think of yourself as a student, more as, and now, running a restaurant, I have to be not just a student, but also a teacher in a lot of ways. And so I'm learning about that now and really trying to understand what it means to be a strong and good leader. And so it was not something I was ever really anticipating in my younger life. So
Yeah. And do you want to talk a little bit about what you're building for 2023?
yeah, of course. So really excited about opening this restaurant in Chinatown. It will be my first restaurant. The restaurant's going to be called Firstborn. It's on Broadway. It's in the Mandarin Plaza. Firstborn kind of tells a story of me being a Chinese American and me being the son of Chinese immigrants. I was the first person in my family to be born in America, and so that's kind of the story behind the name Firstborn. And it's really just about re-examining what it means and finding identity through being Chinese American, and really trying to understand what that identity means. And so I think the cuisine, I like to describe it as California cuisine from the perspective of somebody that is Chinese American.
Nice.
And so some of the food you had tonight feels a little bit
Amazing, by the way.
Chinese. some of it doesn't. And so I think that's like a fun thing to play with, this idea of like not necessarily everything being super traditional or stuck in some kind of sense of heritage.
Yeah.
And sort of breaking out of this mold and re-examining what it means to be Chinese American. So, and cooking in this amazing place that we are in Southern California. So
Yeah. That's awesome. Very excited for when that comes out.
yeah, thank you.
And last, what would you say to someone that's looking to start something, but still waiting for the right time, or just waiting on the right moment, etc.?
I don't think there's ever like the perfect time to start anything. I think a lot of it comes from, having the support. Like I'm very grateful because I have the support of like my family and my sister, and she's just been like a really, really amazing person that's been so supportive of me all these years. So a lot of that is like building the confidence, but the confidence comes from knowledge. And so really just try to excel and be the best that you can be at whatever it is that you're doing and the craft, and building towards that level of confidence. And when you feel as though you're ready, just go for it. So shoot for the stars.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, there's never a good time to start anything. Like you just have to really like just start it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah,
Chef
of
Anthony
course.
Wang.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Anthony Wang, and this is Unexpected Connections.